We are here in Nairobi, Kenya, in front of the headquarters of the International Union for Conservation of Nature. The 24 countries of Eastern and Southern Africa host a vast variety and abundance of the world's biological and natural resources, including 7 of the world's biodiversity hotspots, one of them being the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest in Uganda. That's where we're gonna go.
So in Eastern and Southern Africa, we have an initiative called the Africa Wildlife Initiative, and we work to improve species, habitats, and people's livelihoods. So we target working with civil society organizations, not only to strengthen their capacity, but also to help support protection of threatened species, large mammals, carnivores, birds of prey, smaller species, and also large herbivores. And we take different approaches through this. Can be through community engagement, where communities' livelihoods are improved to continue to ways that are positively affecting the environment, to ensure that conservation is not only about species, but it's also for the benefit of the people and also for the future generations that come.
The conservation of mountain gorillas is a key species in Uganda, and because of the being widely endangered globally, and in Uganda we have the highest number of mountain gorillas, amounting to about 1,600. And we are specifically working with the local communities to diversify their livelihoods. One, you find that the communities within the area, the Batwa, which is an indigenous community within the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, was previously staying inside the park, but they were displaced from the park to move and stay outside the park, mainly because there was a need to conserve the mountain gorillas. However, their displacement meant that their livelihoods had been disrupted. And now with the program that we are getting support from you, we are using this funding to support the communities to diversify their livelihoods. And one of the target community groups is the Batwa. And the Batwa is a community that heavily depends on nature and the forested landscape. And what we are engaging with them is to ensure that they are able to maintain their livelihoods, but without entering inside the park. And through this, we are supporting them in regards to growing mushrooms. Mushrooms is a key species of the Batwa. One, it helps them in regards to addressing the medicinal needs, the herbal needs.
To go to the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, take a very bumpy road for 2 hours at dawn. We are here entering the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest at 2,300 meters southwest of Uganda, and we're going to track the gorillas for a few hours.
Wild animals have a strong sense of detecting human activities. Even if you're not talking, they can sense by smelling your breath. So even if you're not talking, the elephant is already aware that you're coming. And that's why mostly we don't see them, because in case it detects you, it just keeps quiet behind the bush and you go. You have to be patient. And sometimes, because here we have 8 groups that are habituated and 2 that are still under habituation. So we have options always. So long as you're strong enough to walk, if we try this group and we find that where it is going, it's unreachable, we don't have chances of reaching there. But our trackers will make sure that they reach. But of course, where Ivan can reach, you can't reach there. Okay? You can walk for 20 kilometers a day in the bush, but you may not.
So we are about to approach the gorillas, so we have to put masks not to transmit diseases. Let's walk.
In case they charge, because of the alarms they are making, all of us become nervous, me inclusive, plus them. Because But we know when they are charging, we know when it is a good contact or when it is a bad contact. We know what is a good contact. Good contact is when they are charging among themselves, not charging us. We call it a good contact because they are not against us. Then the bad contact is when they are charging towards us. We also tell, we also know. So what we advise when it is a bad contact, we advise you to stand still, remain in one position.
Gorilla species are very unique species, and they are very close to humans as primates. And Bwindi Impenetrable Park, whom we support, uh, they are just a small part of a bigger picture when it comes to the protecting and enhancing the global status of gorillas in the world. So we look at ways that we can enhance the conservation of these species. And so projects like what we are doing with EGI, which include community livelihoods, instead of them working to going into the park, hunt for sources of protein or food to sell.
The challenge with the legal entry into the park is that some of not the gorillas more of relate with humans, and the disease can easily spread. So if a community person enters into the park, the chance of spreading the disease to the mountain gorilla is extremely high, and vice versa. The community interacting with the mountain gorilla can easily contract the disease and bring it to the population. And that's the reason why we are trying to see that we limit illegal entry. But also, other people take advantage, and not necessarily they're targeting to kill the mountain gorilla, but then they're targeting to kill the antelopes within this ecosystem. They put in the snares, and if the mountain gorilla steps on the snare, it tends to injure them. Not that they're targeted, but then when they step on it, they injure them, and when they contract the disease, sometimes they end up dying out of the disease. So we're working towards seeing that we're able to limit all that from happening. Mountain gorillas in Bwindi, we have the ones that are habituated, that live within the families. Of course, a mountain gorilla is more or less like a human in the way it lives. They live in families, they build nests, they produce and raise their young ones. So they stay in the families, especially those that have been habituated. They keep on moving from one nest that they build day to day to the next one. It's mainly in their nature, and they need quite a lot of bigger space to be able to do that. And the habitat destruction is a big threat to their way of life and their conservation. And it's the reason that quite a number of initiatives that we are trying to bring in. And habitat degradation is mainly driven by the local community staying within the park, because of the need that they need. The communities tend to legally enter, they cut down the habitat that limits the space that the mountain gorilla will be able to stay in. We are working with different authorities to ensure that we are able to address the habitat degradation with the support that we are getting in from UPRIC and several species.
Been blessed to have these amazing species on their country, so trying to see how they can collaborate, creating a space for them to share this information of some of the strategies they're using to enhance the conservation of gorillas, and also really looking at the protection of these species. They are very vulnerable to infectious diseases from humans, and also humans are also at risk. So looking a lot at zoonotic diseases which impact not only gorillas but other species. So creating more time to have these dialogues and strategies on how we can reduce the spread of this disease that really impact such a very small and vulnerable population group of species. And we also, we are looking at doing more funding, ensure that rangers are well equipped. Rangers are the first line of defense when it comes to conserving our protected areas. So we want to see more rangers that are well equipped, well trained, supporting in their patrols with equipment through technology, ensuring their well-being, because not only are they protecting these species from dangers of illegal activities, but they are also at risk being around these species. They're really beautiful creatures and really amazing, with human-like resemblance. So anything we can do and getting ideas and information how we can support them is definitely something that we look towards. Yeah.